Hi, my name is Christopher Drost and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be talking about the 7 different kinds of attitude that people can have towards a transgender character. I want to start off with why I'm making this video, because it looks a little bit out of place. Well, it all has to do with character growth and character development, and not just of your transgender character, but also of the characters around them. Honestly, I was scripting for another video when I thought of this. I stopped scripting that and I started doing this one because it was a lot of fun to make. Please note that I will be using stereotypes here, so these are not characters that you can just throw into your novel. They do need work. They're the base of a character, not an actual character. Do keep that in mind. Because I like to end on a positive note, I will be going from least supportive to most supportive. The first type of person your trans character has to deal with is the conservative person. To these people, transgender people are a concept, not an actual real thing. And the concept, let me be clear, does not exist for them. Not only are these people at no level accepting transgender people, they also actively fight against granting rights. For some reason they believe that if a transgender person will have more rights, that it somehow imposes on theirs. So the least right trans people have, the better. Some recent examples of this are the trans military ban, and the other one are the bathroom bills in some states in the US. And when I'm talking about the bathroom bills, I am talking about those that force a transgender person to use the public facilities for the sex they are assigned at birth. It is good to note that these people are often religious, but this is not always the case. There's also non-religious people that will act exactly the same way. The second type of attitude that I want to talk about is the pseudo-scientists. These are the people that, armed with outdated research, will tell the whole world that transgender people do not exist. One of many popular beliefs among pseudo-scientists is that gender dysphoria is a mental illness. I've already covered why that's not the case. And when you try to educate them with more recent research or more open-minded research, they will always tell you that there was a gay agenda involved. The third attitude that I want to talk about is the "what about us" crowd. These people are mostly afraid that if you grant rights to trans people, that it somehow imposes on their rights. Typically, you will find this kind of attitude among people that are in a very privileged group without actually knowing it. Alternatively, these characters are part of another minority that feel like the trans community should just toughen up, much like they had to do. Another key feature is that they absolutely do not want to accommodate anybody who is different than them, mostly because they don't understand. They often believe that being treated with consideration is a privilege, and therefore they do not have to grant it. They also are big advocates of that whatever you do in your home is fine, but we do not want to see it. Phrases that you can think of are "as long as it's not in my face" and "as long as it's not shoved down my throat." This loosely translates to you can be yourself as long as we don't see it, so you can do it behind your closed closet doors. It really looks like just the thought of diversity scares them. Coincidentally, these are also the people that accidentally misgender your cat and then apologize for it over and over and over again, because apparently gender does matter for the cat. Next up is number 4, the people that do not agree with your lifestyle choices. Hey gay people, you know who I'm talking about. These are the people that were sort of close to you, that still love you, but they do not agree with the choices you've recently made in your lifestyle. Again, this can be for religious reasons, and that's often the case, but there's also other ideologies that will cause people to behave this way. One of the main things about these people is that they think that if they don't support you, that you will somehow eventually crumble under pressure and you will go back to whatever it was that you were supposed to do. Unfortunately, they don't know what it's like, and they also don't realize how damaging their stance is. It's sort of like Schrodinger's cat, but with love. You never know whether the love is dead or alive until you open the closet doors. In next week's video I'm going to talk a little bit more when we're applying these kind of things, but I want to tell you right now that when your character does have people like this in their family, in their inner circles, this is extremely tiring. Next up on number 5 is the banner ally. And this one is actually one of my favorite. Not to deal with, but to talk about. Because a lot of people do not know this one exists. These are the people that say they support trans rights and they are supportive of anyone who needs it. But when it comes to it, they do not support you. And this is mostly because, are you sure? I don't see it. You're confused. And those phrases tie in really nicely with my next point. They act as reasonable gatekeepers. Like I said, they do believe that transgender people exist. They also believe that people who are transgender should receive proper medical treatment. Unfortunately, proving to a better ally that you are indeed transgender is almost impossible. And not to mention tiresome. When confronted, these people are incredibly defensive. After all, how dare you say that they do not support transgender people? They are allies. And allies are allowed to be critical. The problem with them is that they do not understand the difference between unsupportive and critical. The difference between being critical and being unsupportive is a very fine line, but it is also, to me, very clear. Being critical is all about asking the right questions. If you think that somebody's making a mistake, you're asking them the questions that will make them think. And you're listening to their answers. This is being critical. This is okay. The difference with unsupportive is asking questions in order to make somebody see that they are wrong. You cannot know if they are wrong. So the difference really is whether you're listening to the answers or not. Now number 6, and these are fun to deal with for me. And that is the ally that really tries. These are people that really want to support you, but often their lack of education on the subject keeps them from actually supporting you. It can lead to some clumsy actions and some really awkward situations. But at the core, they really mean well. It is not malicious at all, and they're so much fun to deal with. Often the source is that they're just uneducated. They don't really know anything about transgender people, and what often happens is they have 1 or maybe 2 transgender friends, and they think that those 2 people speak for the whole community. Like I've said a couple of videos ago, I am just one person with one opinion, and you will find a whole bunch of people with different opinions. That's what a community is. Something that often happens is that they cannot really define the difference between an actual trans issue or more of a fear-mongering bathroom bill type of situation. A lot of my friends are allies that really try, and I spend a lot of time on the phone with them, explaining to them that what they heard that scared them in the media or like from other people, that is not true. I don't mind doing this because these people genuinely care. Like if they hear something really scary, they will tell me like what is going on. They fear for my well-being, and I appreciate that, but most of the time it is not actually a problem. And the last one is number 7. It's the actual ally. These people are heaven sent. These are the people that take the time to get educated and who listen to transgender people when they talk, when they explain something, when they want to talk about anything really. They sit down, they listen, and they believe you. Although a lot of these people are considered real cheerleaders for the trans people that they are interacting with, it is not entirely impossible that they are critical. Like I said before, there's a difference between unsupportive and critical. The most important part about being an actual ally is being respectful of boundaries and pronouns and whatever the person you're dealing with needs. These were the 7 types of attitudes that I have identified around me. If you're trans and you're watching this video and you're like, hey, I know number 8, 9, 10 and 11, let me know in the comments down below. On that note, I want to point out to the writers that are watching these videos that if you go into the comments section, there's often a lot of interesting discussions going on with different points of view from mine. So I really highly recommend checking out the comments section from the videos to find some more background information. In next week's video, I will be talking about how to apply these different types of attitudes to the character around your trans character and what it means in terms of character development. Now, on a completely unrelated note to this, I promised Sarah and Duncan over at Twitter to pronounce some Dutch words, so here it goes. The Dutch pronunciation of Gouda cheese is Gouda, with the hard G. And the popular cookie is called a stroopwafel. Now I hope you enjoyed your short Dutch lesson, and let's get on to the question of the day. What do you think that is the most common attitude towards transgender people, and why do you think that? That's all I've got for you today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and while you're down there you can subscribe to my channel. Due to changes of my personal schedule, I have decided to release the videos on Thursdays instead of Wednesdays, so I post new videos on Thursdays. Yep, got that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and while you're down there, you can subscribe to my channel. No, I don't post new videos on Wednesdays.